Good afternoon. I call the November 12, 2021 meeting of the Return Board of the 2021 General and Special Election to order. First, I will preserve the order and decorum of these meetings. Everyone in attendance should be on notice that shouting out or interrupting the proceedings will not be tolerated. Those who violate this will be asked to leave. The Sunshine Act permits anyone attending a public meeting to object to a perceived violation at any time during the meeting. If you choose to do so, please succinctly state your objection. Objecting is not an opportunity for speech making. We will now move to public comment. Commenters shall state where they live, or if they are not a resident of Philadelphia, that they are a Philadelphia taxpayer. Public comment is not an opportunity for dialogue or Q&A, it's public comment, a chance for you to tell us what you think. Each speaker shall have 2 minutes. However, I may extend this time at my discretion. All public comments must be relevant or germane to board business. Finally, it's my responsibility to preserve the order and decorum of these meetings. As such, profane, slanderous, or discriminatory or personal attacks will not be tolerated. Anyone here looking to make a statement or argument on a particular category of mail ballots or a category of challenged provisional ballots, please hold off until that part of the meeting. Is there anyone here for public comment?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Murielle McCarthy, and I'm a resident of Philadelphia.
Wait 1 second. Sorry, excuse us. Thank you.
You try to talk to the mic.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Murielle McCarthy, and I'm a resident of Philadelphia. A judge of elections recently made a public statement to you about experiencing intimidation and rule breaking by partisan officials, elected officials at his polling place. He stated he has been a poll worker for 4 years and that his latest experience was horrible. As a poll worker, I am upset that you didn't respond to him. You could have provided specific information on how to get support from the DA's office. You could have asked for more specifics on what happened. As a poll worker, this demonstrates to me and to the public that you don't actually care about his experience. You didn't even thank him for his years of service, which in his case is unusual for him to have that many years of service. As a board, you've consistently chosen not to respond to people who make public comments. I've made public comments to you about issues that came up when I was a poll worker, and if my experience is typical, you don't follow up with people afterwards either. Many election boards and other agencies in the state engage with the public when individuals bring their concerns to public meetings like this. That engagement can lead to improved policies and more trust. And just as important, engagement with the public can demonstrate that boards actually care about the experiences of their poll workers and the voters. It's hard enough for our city to recruit poll workers. When you ignore their concerns, you signal to returning and future poll workers that they're on their own, not only on the day of the election, but afterwards when they report legitimate problems. Engage with the public and show us that you actually care about us. Thank you.
We will now move on to, any more public comment? Hearing none, we will move on to Secretary Commissioner Sabir for emailed public comment.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As of 12:45 a.m., we received no public comments via email.
Thank you. We will now proceed to new business. Garrett Dietz will present on the mail ballot sufficiency determination.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Garrett.
So I have a few categories for your review for absentee.
Hold on, Garrett. Microphone.
Opposite problem.
Is that better?
Better,
Okay,
thank
there we
you.
go. Okay. So I have a few categories for your review regarding absentee and mail-in ballots. The first of which is voters who affixed their signature to their declaration envelopes, but the declaration envelopes are missing the date of signature.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to offer argument on this category.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I come before you once again on this issue of the dates on the ballots. In May, you unfortunately voted to disenfranchise over 1,300 Philadelphia voters, preempting the Supreme Court based on a misinterpretation of the decision, taking the position that this board should make an interpretation of a complex Supreme Court decision instead of giving the voters the benefit of the doubt. Only one of you, Chair Lisa Deeley, stuck to her guns and stood up for the voters that you were elected to defend. This is your chance today to recognize that voters should get the benefit of the doubt, that this board stands for the rights of voters, that this board, when there's a confusing or puzzling or even an insubstantial issue like this missing dates, that you'll choose not to disenfranchise those voters, but to treasure those votes that you were elected to protect. So I urge you to make a different decision this time. I don't know how many of these undated ballots there are, but each and every one of them represents a Philadelphia voter whose vote deserves to be counted. Thank you.
Thank you. Garrett, could you please state for the record how many missing date envelopes there are?
There are 1,807 ballots in this category.
Thank you. Anybody else here to comment on this category? In the 2020 general election, 0.6% of the mail ballots that were returned did not contain a date. We voted to accept them, and that decision was appealed to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. In his concurring and dissenting opinion in our e-canvass and absentee and mail-in ballots of November 3rd, 2020 general election, Justice Weck states, citing his earlier opinion in Pennsylvania Democratic Party versus Bookvar, I also emphasize that disqualification is appropriate so long as the Secretary and County Boards of Elections provide electors with adequate instructions for completing the declaration of the elector, including conspicuous warnings regarding the consequences for failing strictly to adhere to these requirements. I cannot say with any confidence that even diligent electors were adequately informed as to what was required to avoid the consequence of disqualification in this case. As in Zettner, it would be unfair to punish voters for the incidence of systemic growing pains. After that, the Department of State redesigned the declaration envelopes, adding a clear warning stating that your ballot will not, if you do not place it in a secrecy envelope, sign and date the declaration. The results, non-dated ballots shot up 2.1%. To combat this board went above and beyond every other county in the state. We increased the size of the warning, used color to draw the eye to the important section of the envelope, and even added 2 arrows pointing to the 2 lines that must be filled out, essentially leading the horse to water. Still, 2.4% of the ballots were returned without a date. Voters, both diligent and not, were more than adequately presented with the information as to the consequences of failing to date the declaration. It is clear we cannot graphically design our way out of this problem. We need to bring back the satellite election offices so that there are staff there to check a voter's envelope for them when they turn it in. I believe that the fact that 130,000 ballots were collected through the satellite offices in 2020 was the reason for the low percentage of non-dated ballots. But satellite offices require a major funding commitment. Since we have not been able to provide the full level of service that these voters deserve, I vote that we count these ballots so that at least they are not disenfranchised. Commissioner Schmidt?
Much like in the general election of last year, there is no question as to whether this is the registered voter's vote or whether that vote is legitimate or whether it was received on or cast on him for election day. Unfortunately, the law is very clear, and the law states that the declaration envelope must be signed and dated. I've testified in hopes that the legislature will change that law. They have not. Consequently, regrettably, I vote to not count those votes.
Commissioner Sabir?
I vote not to count.
The first category, missing date, will not count. Please proceed.
Okay, next category. So the next few categories are regarding the ID verification of the ballot application of the voter. So the first category in this group is where an ID verification failed when the voter applied for the ballot. The voter responded to the ID verification letter that we sent to all voters in this situation. Unfortunately, the ID was still not able to be cured, and neither the social security number nor the driver's license number was present on their registration file. And there are 15 ballots in this category.
Is there anybody here that would like to offer argument on this category? Hearing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes in the ID verified, no social security or driver's license on sure vote will count.
Hey, Garrett, did you say how many there were in that universe?
15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next category is similar. The difference being, again, it's a voter whose ID verification failed when they applied for the ballot. They responded to the letter that we sent. But whatever ID they gave was opposite of what was on the registration record. For instance, if they gave us a social security number, but only their driver's license number was on their file, or vice versa.
The number?
Oh, and there are 3 ballots in this category.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to offer argument on this category? Hearing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
I vote to count.
These votes will be counted. Please proceed.
Okay, next category, again, a voter whose ballot application failed ID verification. They responded to the ID letter, but what they responded with did not match what we had on their registration record. And there are 5 ballots of this category.
Is there anybody here that wishes to offer argument? I vote to not count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to not count those ballots.
Commissioner Sabir?
I vote to not count.
Please proceed.
Okay, and my last category, ID verification failed for the voter when they applied for a ballot, and they did not respond validly to the letter sent, and there are 213 ballots in this category.
Anyone here to offer argument on this category? Hearing none, I vote to not count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Given that the voter did not respond, I vote not to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote not to count.
These votes will not count.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Garrett.
Garrett, is there some sort of, because the universe is pretty small, is there some sort of outreach that we can do to contact those voters to figure out why they don't have numbers in the SURE system that match the numbers that they're providing? One small universe.
We could definitely, post-election, we could reach out to them and try and, get those numbers into their registration records, so this isn't an issue again.
Just to make sure it's not like a data entry error, or because of one reason or another that number changed.
So if they did give us a number that was different than their registration record, we would pass it through the HAVA check, which checks Department of State's database. So if it matched with Department of State's database, we would count it, but this wasn't the case for any of these.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Garrett. We will now move to provisional ballots. Kevin Richardson will now present on challenges to provisional ballots.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, Kevin.
Okay, we have 13 different categories that were challenged. We start with the first one, provisional ballots that were cast in a different ward and division than where the voter is registered. In the past, it's practice to count these ballots just as a partial count, where the voter is eligible to vote for any office that he's eligible for. This one would only be the judge of elections and majority inspector. They would not be eligible for. There are
Thank you.
60 ballots in this category.
Thank you. If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category of ballot challenge, please come forward. Hearing none, well, first of all, this is a partial count.
Correct.
Okay. I vote to count. Partial count, yeah. Commissioner Schmidt?
My reading of the law is that it's very clear that it should be, the ballot should be partially counted, and I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
I vote to partially count.
Those votes will be partially counted. Proceed.
Okay, provisional ballots that do not have the ward and division written on the declaration envelope indicating what division they came from. Normally, we would just take a peek in and look and write that on there ourselves.
How many?
24, I'm sorry.
Thank you. If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category of ballot challenge, please step forward. Hearing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Seeing nothing in the law that suggests that those votes should not be counted, I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
I vote to count.
Those votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots that were challenged because the voter requested a mail ballot, and there is no evidence that the voter returned a voted ballot. 171.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category of ballot challenge, please step forward.
I'll comment briefly.
Please state your name for the record.
George Farrell here on behalf of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party, and Laurie Dubins for Commonwealth Court.
George, can you?
Yeah, sorry. How's that?
That's good, thanks.
You won't like it here.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. This is an instance where the voter is confirmed to be registered. They only requested. There's no evidence that their vote was recorded. The statute is clear that the vote should be counted. There's only very small provisions, which we may get into later, wherein that vote cannot be counted. In this situation, it is our opinion that the ballot should be counted. Thanks.
Thank you. How many are there, Kevin, please?
171.
I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots for which the challenge form says a mail ballot was counted, but the staff has determined there was not a mail ballot counted.
How many?
23.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on the category of ballot challenge, please come forward.
Very briefly, George Farrell on behalf of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party and Dubins for Commonwealth Court. This should be a fact-by-fact analysis as it moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
Those votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots were challenged because the short screen indicated the voter address was unconfirmed. We do not believe this is a reason to reject otherwise valid provisional ballots, as it usually means the voter just needs to complete an affidavit.
How
And
many?
there are 23 of those as well.
Thank you. If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on the category of ballot challenge, please step forward. Hearing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots were challenged because of incomplete affidavit. There are 5 of them. That's to say, if they included their name and date of birth and the staff confirmed that they found their address and wrote it on there themselves.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category of ballot challenge, please step forward. I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Kevin, you're saying it's signed, it's just incomplete
Yes,
on the part of the section the voter completes?
correct.
I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Please proceed.
A provisional ballots for which the challenge form says the voter is not registered to vote, but the staff has determined the voter is registered in Shore. I do have printouts available for your review.
Kevin, how many of these?
There are 6.
Yes, may we please see them?
These the right ones?
So this one is a vote. Okay, so she, 2 of them? That's right. This is the whole way.
Yes.
7 and then number 2.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category of ballot challenge, please step forward. Hearing none, I make a motion that we, to count those ballots.
Yeah, all those voters were clearly registered to vote, and I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir,
Vote to count.
those votes will count. Please proceed.
Okay, provisional ballots, challenged because no reason was checked off on the declaration envelope.
How many?
74.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category ballot challenge, please step forward.
I'll be very brief again. Pursuant to section 3050, 8.4, subsection 5 of the election code, this is not a valid reason to exclude a ballot. And additionally, in the Department of State guidelines, it says that the judge of election and the minority inspector should complete this. This is a non-voter error that should not be held against the voter. Thank you.
Thank you. I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
I don't see anything in the law suggesting that because the voter didn't complete that section of the declaration that it shouldn't be counted, so I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots were challenged because the form says the voter voted in person, but staff determined that the voter did not vote in person, 160.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category ballot challenge, please step forward.
If anything, this should be a fact by fact, or a division by division fact determination. This is likely another non-voter error where the voter was allowed to sign the poll book and did not vote. Thank you.
I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Our staff determined that the voter did not vote in person. I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots were being challenged because the voter only signed once on the declaration envelope, 13.
13. And there is a signature on the envelope and it matches, sure?
That is correct.
Thank you. If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category ballot challenge, please step forward.
Britton Henry, Pennsylvania Republican Party. Sorry.
No, the microphone. Speaking of the mic, thanks.
The code is clear, the case law is clear. The affidavit requires both signatures. One is insufficient, those votes should not count.
Thank you.
We would argue this is poll worker error.
Can you state your name again?
I'm sorry, George Farrell on behalf of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. We would argue this is not voter error.
I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Unfortunately, the law is very clear that a provisional ballot should not count if either the provisional ballot envelope under Clause 3 or the affidavit under Clause 2 is not signed by the individual. So unfortunately, I vote to not count those ballots.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to not count.
These votes will not count. Please proceed. Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin. Could you tell me How many votes were in the one voter signature category again?
13.
13, thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, provisional ballots, which the challenge form says the signature does not match the record insured, but the staff determined that the signature does match. There are 11 of these, and we have printouts for your review.
Please bring them forward.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes. If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on this category of ballot challenge, please step forward.
Freeman, Republican Party, Pennsylvania. Obviously, this is a case-by-case analysis. We would just ask that to the board's determination, if any are questionable, that they resolve those as not count, barring any testimony from the challenged voter themselves to the contrary.
Just briefly, George Farrell on behalf of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. We'd argue that if they're questionable, that they do count.
Rich Garella from Protect Our Vote Philly. I'd just like to comment that the election code does give the public the right to observe everything that happens at the central tabulation center. So I would hope in the future, when you're evaluating something visual like this, you might set up an overhead projector or something like that, that a lot of counties all over the country do that.
All right, we're gonna go one by one. Shania Watkins, I vote to count.
Vote.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir.
Madam Chair, if I may, I was voting for to count all of them, but I could just be on the record for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Sabir is on the record for voting yes for all of them. I'll proceed. Jennifer Reed. I vote yes.
I vote to count.
So Jennifer will count. Hannah Showman, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Hannah will count. Joanna Fargo, I vote no. Commissioner Schmidt,
I vote not to count.
Joanna Fargo will not count. Jennifer Schneider, I vote yes. Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Jennifer Schneider will count. Megan Frioko, I vote yes. Commissioner Schmidt,
I vote to count.
Megan will count. Adriana Adderton, I vote no. Commissioner Schmidt,
I vote not to count.
Adriana Adderton will not count. Pauline Abernathy, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
I vote to count.
Pauline Abernathy will count. Mohammed Atwu, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Mohammed Atwu will count. Paul Boyd, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Paul Boyd will count. Sheila Rayard, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
Vote to count.
Sheila will count. And just for the record, the first voter, Shania Watkins, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt,
I also vote to count.
Shania Watkins will count. Please proceed.
Okay, provisional ballot was challenged because the provisional ballot was not signed by any poll worker, 57.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on that category ballot challenge, please step forward.
Our position is without signature of either, the ballot should not count because it deprives any sort of notion that the authenticity of the ballot itself exists. So we would vote, or we would suggest not to count.
I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Please step forward.
Just briefly, this is not listed as a valid reason in the statute to not count a ballot.
Thank you. Anyone else left to comment?
Well, we would agree it's not listed, it's presumed to be part of the ballot. It's on there. It's something that, in order to have the signature, it's presumed to have the judge of the elections or the minority inspector sign.
Thank you. Anyone else to comment on this category? Hearing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
This is oddly different than a lot of the other categories I voted not to count because I don't see anything in the election code that prohibits those ballots from counting, and I think it would probably be responsible for the legislature to change that, but there's nothing that suggests they should not be counted, so I vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Please proceed.
Provisional ballots were challenged because the ballot was signed by only one poll worker, 15.
If anyone representing those who brought the challenge would like to make an argument, or if anyone representing a candidate or party would like to speak on this category of ballot challenge, please step forward. Seeing none, I vote to count. Commissioner Schmidt?
Same issue I had with the last one, and I also vote to count.
Commissioner Sabir?
Vote to count.
These votes will count. Commissioner Schmidt, do you have any items to be added to today's agenda?
I do not.
Commissioner Sabir, do you have any items to be added to the agenda?
No, I just like to thank, again, the workers, electrical workers. I think we get the best back in the country.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn. I forgot. No adjourn.
No adjourn.
No adjourn.
I wish.
I apologize.
Never adjourn.
I wish.
We'll never escape.
That was a Friday thought. It is Friday.
Sun is out.
My apologies. Thank you all for being here.